secret societies, hidden agendas, and the sacred halls of the Vatican. How have the Freemasons, the Illuminati, and the Catholic Church intertwined through history? Today, we uncover the covert influences that have cast long shadows over Christianity. Join us as we explore the dark connections and their impacts on faith. Stay tuned and uncover the secrets with us. In November 1983, Pope John Paul II explicitly stated, "You cannot be both Catholic and a Freemason at the same time." From its inception, global Freemasonry regarded the Catholic Church as its primary adversary. It viewed the Church as the embodiment of universal Christianity. This animosity became apparent when King Philip persecuted the Knights Templar, executing and burning many after the Papal Church accused him of various offenses, including heresy, mocking Christ, devil worship, black magic, and moral corruption. As the Knights Templar weakened and fled to Scotland, the power of the Catholic Church temporarily increased. During this period, Jewish Freemasons infiltrated the Catholic Church. This infiltration eventually contributed to events like the French Revolution, which abolished religion, dismissed Christian clergy, and promoted the worship of reason, now known as secularism. The next significant development occurred when Napoleon Bonaparte ordered the abolition of the Church after gaining control of Italy. Pope Pius VI, nearly 80 years old, was captured and died in prison. The Catholic Church views Freemasonry as a threat to European youth. It considers Freemasonry an enemy of religion that disregards its rituals and practices. Freemasonry reached its zenith in France following the French Revolution. It even rivaled the Church in influence. Freemasonry became synonymous with the French Revolution and the subsequent republican system. This prompted the Vatican to label it a threat. The Church accused Freemasonry of promoting atheism, extreme materialism, sectarianism, immorality, and depravity. The Vatican cited the events of the French Revolution and its aftermath as evidence of this threat. The Vatican regards Catholicism as the religion that best upholds human morality, according to its claims. Therefore, it opposes Freemasonry, which it views as contrary to this principle. The first formal papal decree against Freemasonry was issued in 1738. This decree condemned any Christians who joined Freemasonry. Much of the conspiracy surrounding Freemasonry was exposed when police in Italy and France uncovered significant evidence of Masonic infiltration and manipulation within the Vatican. This revelation revealed the level of danger posed by Illuminati Freemasonry on a global scale. Investigators confirmed that several high-ranking clergy members were involved in Freemasonry. Many held significant positions within Illuminati networks in secret Masonic organizations. Freemasonry's hostility toward the Catholic Church is evident not only in public statements but also in the rituals that members must undertake to reach the 30th degree in the Scottish Rite. In the Knights of Kadosh, members pledge to overthrow papal influence. They chant, "Down with deception," during their initiation. Pope Leo XIII once remarked, "Freemasons seek to revive the morals and customs of ancient pagan religions. Furthermore, they have created socialism and communism to overthrow governments everywhere." Freemasonry seeks to deceive both rulers and the populace by pretending to be friends. They flatter from one side while inciting attacks on both the church and civil authority. The enmity between the Catholic Church and Freemasonry extends back centuries. The Vatican issued papal decrees ordering the arrest and execution of all Templars, including their spiritual leader. It is said, "The Templars are Freemasonry, and Freemasonry is the Templars." Given this, it is unsurprising that Freemasonry harbors deep animosity toward the Church. The Templars, or Knights of the Temple, sought revenge against the Catholic Church after it allied with Protestantism. They worked to alter church structures throughout Europe by instigating revolutions, toppling European monarchies, and undermining the authority of the Pope. However, contradictions exist within the Vatican itself, as many Masonic symbols and rituals have appeared inside the Vatican since the early 20th century. This suggests a conflict in the Vatican's stance toward Freemasonry. On one hand, it condemns Freemasonry in official papal decrees. On the other, it practices rituals associated with Satan worship. The Vatican also openly displays Masonic symbols without objection from Catholic cardinals or the Pope himself. Consider, for instance, the inverted cross on the papal throne, an emblem of mockery and rejection of Jesus. This cross symbolizes values upheld by Satan. This symbol appears in necklaces worn during various satanic rituals. It is also visible around the necks of singers who idolize Satan in their songs. In another example, the Catholic Church and the Vatican are known to bow in worship before a statue of the Virgin Mary. This act is pagan and was introduced to them by Jewish Freemasonry in the mid-16th century. While worshipping Virgin Mary is considered an essential aspect of Christianity, it contradicts a clear command in the Bible. This command is found in Mark chapter 7 verse 7, which states, "They worship me in vain, their teachings are merely human rules." Similarly, in Exodus chapter 20 verse 5, it is stated, "You shall not bow down to them," referring to idols made and worshipped instead of the one true God. In contrast, Freemasons engage in idol worship, venerating idols and the image of Baphomet, a representation of Satan himself. One cannot overlook certain practices within the Vatican that are integral to the dangerous relationship between Illuminati Freemasonry and the Catholic Church. These practices include sexual deviance and pedophilia, which have notably spread within the Catholic Church, particularly among children. Furthermore, even the Pope has called for the establishment of a new world order. This phrase has been repeated multiple times with specific details. In his New Year Mass in 2005, Pope Benedict XVI stated, "This new international order can be achieved by reforming the United Nations and similarly reforming international economic and financial institutions." Pope John Paul II, elected in 1978, was the first non-Italian to hold the papacy in nearly 500 years. There are claims that he was specifically chosen for his role to advance the agenda of the New World Order. Rumors suggest that Pope John Paul II had Polish-Jewish ancestry and was groomed for the papacy long before, having converted from Judaism to Christianity. Many might disagree, but some argue that global Jewish Freemasonry successfully deceived the world by placing a Jewish figure with Illuminati loyalties at the pinnacle of the Vatican. According to various sources, Pope John Paul II exhibited actions throughout his papacy that aligned more closely with the New World Order than with the Church's traditional values. For example, the Vatican's unprecedented diplomatic recognition of Israel, a state it had refused to acknowledge for decades, raised significant questions. This recognition occurred without consulting the papal office or addressing the historical animosity between Zionism, Freemasonry, and the Church. Pope John Paul II further fueled suspicions about his loyalty to the New World Order by actions such as visiting the Western Wall in occupied Palestine. He also apologized to the Jewish community for the persecution inflicted upon him by his predecessors. He made an unexplained visit to Malta, a historical stronghold of the Knights of Malta, or Templar Knights, who fled from the Catholic Church after the Vatican issued a decree to burn him at the stake. The surprises continue in the legacy of Pope John Paul II. In the Vatican archives, it is noted that he was responsible for drafting and promoting a Vatican document that exonerated the Jews from the death of Christ in November 1965. By absolving the Jews of historical guilt for the persecution of Christ, Pope John Paul II, under pressure from global Zionist Freemasonry and the United States, overturned historical facts. This move absolved the Jews of any responsibility in Christ's crucifixion and responded to long-standing demands from global Jewish Freemasonry for absolution, which the Vatican had resisted for years. Following this act of exoneration, prominent Freemason affiliates within the Vatican, led by John Paul II, called for the formal recognition of Israel as a Jewish state. They emphasized that the Catholic Church should acknowledge this Hebrew nation, especially since they were now deemed innocent of Christ's blood. This change was realized once John Paul II ascended to the papal seat. Pope John Paul II then went further, officially stating that the Church bore some responsibility for the alleged Holocaust. He issued an apology on behalf of the Vatican for the Church's collusion with the Nazis in the killing of millions of Jews. In the last 7 years of his life, this pope worked to elevate Jewish status and absolve the Jews of historical guilt. He ignored the massacres and persecution against others, including Palestinians and those who sought refuge within churches like the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem. Moreover, Pope John Paul II broke many papal traditions by cancelling several key Catholic theological texts that condemned Jewish actions against humanity and their hostility toward Christianity. Among these was a decree issued by Pope Gregory XIII in 1581, which condemned the Jews. This decree stated, "The sins of the people who rejected Christ and tortured him continue to grow with each generation." This decree was upheld by all successive popes until it was nullified by Pope John Paul II. In 1897, the Vatican issued another statement declaring that 1,827 years had passed since Christ's prophecy of Jerusalem's destruction was fulfilled. The statement added that, any attempt to rebuild Jerusalem as a center for an Israeli state contradicts Christ's own prophecy, as he foretold that Jerusalem would be trampled by the Gentiles until the end of time, Luke chapter 21 verse 24. In 1917, Pope Benedict XV coined the slogan "No Jewish Sovereignty over the Holy Land," which was a direct response to Theodor Herzl's request for the Vatican to support Zionist ambitions for an Israeli state over Jerusalem. Pope John Paul II was viewed by some as a staunchly Zionist Freemason, earning praise from the Jewish community worldwide. Jewish mourners even referred to him as the Lord during his funeral, a gesture that contradicted traditional practices of papal mourning. The cardinals and Vatican clergy broke sacred burial rituals by wrapping him in a red shroud, symbolizing the shroud for prominent Masonic figures, in contrast to the obligatory white shroud used for previous popes. He was then buried on a floor adorned with an inverted cross, a clear insult to Christ. From this, it can be inferred that while there appears to be an outward animosity between the Vatican and Freemasonry or the New World Order, there may be a hidden agenda aligning them toward a shared goal of global unification under a New World Order. It seems plausible that Jewish Illuminati Freemasonry has infiltrated the Vatican, reaching the very papal office in modern times and subtly controlling the Catholic stance, exploiting the state of spiritual dormancy in Christianity and the influence wielded by the Pope. The Vatican papacy may have covertly acted as a proficient agent of Jewish Freemasonry, misleading the world by feigning opposition to Freemasonry. However, the deep infiltration of Jewish Masonic Zionism has potentially transformed the Catholic Church into an instrument to exonerate Jews and Zionism from their repeated crimes against humanity. Secret societies, hidden agendas, and the Vatican's sacred halls weave a complex tapestry, where the Freemasons, Illuminati, and Catholic Church have intersected through history. These organizations, often shrouded in mystery, wielded influence over politics, faith, and society, sparking intrigue and caution as their power dynamics shaped humanity's spiritual and temporal path. If you want to uncover more secrets about hidden societies, hidden agendas, and their impact on history, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. More fascinating truths and hidden details await you in upcoming episodes.